Caitanya Bhagavata chapter 7, continuing from verse 53, where Vrindavan Thakur is putting in his own words the discussion from the Bhagavatam, 10th canto, chapter 14, where Maharaj Pariksha is asking Shukadev, how is it Krishna steals the hearts of his devotees? And how is it that the Braja Gopis had more love for Krishna than for their own sons? So now Vedavyas Vrindavan Thakur is putting the answer in Bengali, which was told in Sanskrit in the Bhagavatam. Same samvad. It's called Shuk Parikshit Samvad Anupam. Shuk Parikshit Samvad Anupam, which means the matchless or incomparable talks between Shukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj concerning this amazing topic. Shri Shuka Kahina Shunaraja Parikshit Paramatma Sarvadehi Valabha Vidita Atma Vinay Puchanva Kalatra Mandagan Grihaite Bahira Karaye Tatakshan Ateva Paramatma Sabara Jivan Se Paramatma E Shri Nandanandan Ateva Paramatma Sabhava Karane Krishnete Adhika Sneha Kare Gopigane. O Maharaj Parikshit, it is well known that the super soul is dear to all. When the soul leaves the son, wife or friend, their body is taken out of the house. Super soul is therefore the life of everyone. That super soul is Nanda Maharaj's son. Thus the gopis have more affection for Krishna due to his natural characteristics of being the super soul within everyone. Eho kata bhakta prati anya prati nahi anyata jagate kena sneha nakaraye. This, however, applies only to the devotees, not others. Otherwise, why doesn't everyone show affection for Krishna? Kamsadiha Atma Krishne Tabe Himse Kene Purva Aparadache Tahara Karane. Why do demons like Kans envy Krishna, who is the Supreme Soul? This is due simply to previous offenses, Purva Aparad. Sahaje Sharkara Mishta Sarva Jane Jane Keha Tikta Vase Jiva Doshara Karane. Jivara Se Dosha Sharkarara Doshanai Ateva Sarva Mishta Caitanya Gosai. Everyone knows that sugar is sweet by nature, but if the tongue is diseased, then the sugar will taste bitter. That is the fault of the tongue, not the sugar. The conclusion is that Caitanya Gosai is the sweetest of all, Sarva Mishta. There's no bitterness in Lord Chaitanya. He Navadripete Tequila Sarva Jane Tatapiya Kehana Janila Bhaktavine. Although everyone saw Nimai in Navadvip, no one could recognize him other than his devotees. Bhaktira Sechita Prabhu Kare Sarvatai Viharaye Navadvipe Vaikuntha Rai. The Lord of Vaikuntha attracted the hearts of all the devotees as he enjoyed pastimes in Navadvip. Mohiya Sabara Chitta Prabhu Vishwambar Agraje Laila Chali Lena Nijagar. After thus enchanting everyone's heart in the home of Advaitacharya while they were having Krishna Katha, Lord Vishwambar returned home to take his meal with his elder brother Vishwarup. Mane Mane Chintaye Advaita Mahashai Prakrita Manushya Kabu e balak ganai. Sri Advaita Prabhu thought to himself, ye balak na prakrita manush ne. This boy, ye balak, is not a man of this world. Prakrita manush. He's not an ordinary person of material world. Sarva Vaishnavera prati valila advaita kon vastu e balak najani nishchita. Then Advaita turned to the Vaishnavas and said, I don't know what sort of boy, kon vastu, boy this is. E balak. This boy, what is his vastu? What is his substance? Najani nishchita. I cannot understand. Prasham sitte lagilena sarva bhaktagana apurva shishura rupa lavanya katan. Then hearing this, all the devotees began to praise the beauty, rupa lavanya katan, of that wonderful child, Nimai Pandit. Jaya Vishwambar Jaya Nimai Shachinandana Gaura Hari Prabhu Jaya Shri Gauranga. Jaya Vishwambar Jaya Nimai Shachinandana Jaya Vishwambar Jaya Nimai Shachinandana Gaura Hari Prabhu Jaya Shri Gauranga. Jai Vishwambar Jaya Nimai Shachinandana Gaura Hari Prabhu Jaya Shri Gauranga. Nama Matra Vishwarupa Chalilena Gare Puna Ailena Shigra Advaita Mandire. Vishwarup returned home simply out of formality. Then as soon as possible he returned to Advaita's house for more satsang with the Vaishnavas. Na bhaya samsara sukha vishwarupa mane niravaditake Krishna ananda kirtane. The desire for material enjoyment never appeared in the mind of Vishwarup. He constantly remained in the ecstasy of chanting Krishna's names. Krishna Ananda Kirtan, Niravadi, no break. Samsara Sukha Nabhaya. He had no fear of happiness. In his mind, happiness of samsara never appeared. He was not afraid of it. Grihaya leo griha vyabharanad kare niravadi take Vishnu grihara bitare. Even when Vishwarupa was at home, he never engaged in household activities. He would always stay in the temple room, worshipping and meditating on the Lord. Vivahara udyoga karaye pita mata shuni Vishwarupa bara mani paya vyata. When his mother and father spoke of arranging his marriage, Vishwarupa felt great mental pain. Vyata. Baramani paya vyata. Chadibe samsara Vishwarupa mani bhav. Chali janavane matra e mane jage. When he heard this, Vishwarupa thought quietly to himself, I will leave home and go to the forest. Ishvarera chitta vritti Ishvara se jane Vishwarupa sanyasa karila katak dine. Ishvara chitta vritti Ishvara se jane. Only Ishvara knows the movements of Ishvara's heart. Thus, after a few days, Vishwarupa left his home in Mayapur to take sannyas. Jagate Viditanam Sri Shankararanya Charila Anantapate Vaishnav Agraganya. This root became known throughout the world as Sri Shankararanya, and he traversed the path of bhakti to Lord Krishna, became celebrated as the topmost Vaishnava, Vaishnav Agraganya. Chalilena Jadi Vishwarupa Mahashai Shachi Jagannatha Dagda Hailarinai. When Shachi and Jagannath saw Vishwarupa had left, they were stricken with grief. Their hearts were shattered. Goshti Saha Krandana Karaye Ubharai Bhaira Virahe Murcha Gela Gorarai. Shri Gorarai cried loudly along with his family members and eventually fell unconscious out of separation from his brother, Murcha. It's a very heart-rending scene. Se viraha varite vadane nahi pari haila krandanamaya jagannatha puri. I, Vrindavan Das Thakur, am unable to describe the intense feelings of separation that they all felt. In fact, Jagannath Mishra's entire house became inundated with crying. Krandan Maya, Se Viraha Varnite Varani Nahipari, Haila Krandana Maya Jagannatha Puri. Vishwarupa Sannyasa, Dekhiya Bhaktagan, Advait Adi Sabibahu Karila Krandan. When everyone heard that Vishwarupa had taken sannyas, Advait and all the other devotees began weeping. Hutam Madhyamaje, Shinila Nadi Jai, Hina Nai Jai Shini, Dukkha Nai Pai. Everyone in Nadia who heard about the incident, whether ordinary or exalted devotees, they all felt unhappy. Jagannatha Shachira Vidirna Haya Buk Nirantara Dhake Vishwarupa Vishwarup Putra Shoke Mishra Chandra Haila Vival Prabodha Karaye Bandhu Bandava Sakal. The hearts of Jagannath Mishra and Shachi Devi were broken and shattered, and they continually cried out, Vishwarup, Vishwarup. Sri Jagannath Mishra was overwhelmed with lamentation for his son, Putra Shok Vival. And so his friends and relatives all tried to pacify him. Stira hao mishraduka na bhaviha mane sarvagoshti udarila se mahajane. This is what they said to try to pacify Prabodha Bandhu Bandhava Sakala. Oh Mishra, listen, please become grave, control yourself. Don't feel sad, for that great personality has delivered all of us, that Mahajan of your son, Udarila. Goshite Purusha Jara Karaye Sanyas Trikoti Kulera Haya Shivaikunte Vas. If some family member takes sannyas, then the result of that, the benefit to the rest of the family, is that millions of family members, Trikoti Kula, they are promoted to Vaikuntha, Sri Vaikuntha Vas. They live in Sri Vaikuntha. So cool down. It's a wonderful fortune for everyone. Hena karma karilena nandanatomar safla haila vidya sampurnatahar. These are all the words that they were speaking to try to pacify and console Jagannath Mishra over his son Vishrupa's taking sannyas. Your son has perfected his education by this act of taking sannyas. Ananda Vishesharo Karite Jujai Etavali Sakale Daraye Hatte Pai. It is befitting that you should feel even more happy than before. Saying this, everyone held the hands and feet of Jagannath Mishra. E Kula Bhushna Tamara Vishrambar E Pucha Haibe Tamara Vamshadar. Your son Vishrambar is the ornament of your dynasty. Iha Haite Savarduk Guchibe Tomar Koti Putre Kikarebe E Puja Jahar. Vishwarup will eradicate all your suffering, Sarvaduk. If one has a son such as Vishwarup, what is the need for millions of sons? E Mata Sabe Bhuja Jaina Bandhugan Tadapi Mishwara Dukkha Nahaya Kandan. In this way, all of Jagannath Mishra's friends tried to pacify him, but yet his distress remained unmitigated. Mishwara Dukkha Nakandan, they couldn't break it. Jete Mate Dharya Dari Mishra Mahashai Vishrupa Gunasmari Dharya Pasarai. Whenever Jagannath Mishra would regain his composure, as soon as he would remember Vishrupa's qualities, he again would lose his patience. Mishra Bole, now Jagannath Mishra is speaking in response to his friends, relatives pacifying him. Mishra Bole, E Putra Rahipeka Gari, Ihate Pramana Mora Nalaya Antare. Dilena Krishna, say Putra, Nilena Krishna say, Jai Krishna Chandera Icha, Haiba say. Sotantra Jivera, Tilardheka Shakti Noi, Dehendriya Krishna Samarpilan Tomatani. Sri Jagannath Mishra said, I have no reason to believe that this son will remain at home. Krishna gave me a son, and then he took him away. Whatever Krishna desires, that is what will happen. Krishna Chandricha, Haiva say. Independent of all of you, independent of God, the living entities have no power whatsoever. Therefore, O Krishna, I am surrendering my body and senses unto you. Deha Indriya Krishna Samarpilan. E Rupe Jnana Yoge Mishra Mahadira Alpe Chittavritti Karilena Stira. In this way, the most sober Jagannath Mishra gradually controlled his mind through the process of Gyan. Alpe Chittavritti. Hina Mate Vishwarupa Haila Bahira Nityananda Saruper Abeda Sharira. This is the story of how Vishwarup, who is non-different from Nityananda Sarup, left home. Jai Shunaye Vishwarupa Prabhura Sanyas Krishna Bhakti Hayatara Chinde Karma Fanch. Now this is, of course, the Shruti Fal at the end of this Leela from chapter 7 of Adi Kanda, Caitanya Bhagavata. Anyone who hears the pastimes of Vishwarups, the elder brother of Nimai Pandit, accepting sannyas, he will attain Krishna Bhakti and Chinde Karma Fanch. He will cut the bondage of fruit of action. Vishwarupa Sannyasa Shuniya Bhaktagan Harishe Vishara Sabe Bhave Anukshan. As the devotees heard about Vishwarup's accepting sannyas, they simultaneously felt Harish and Vishad, happiness and lamentation. Jiva Chila Stana Krishna Kata Kali Bhara Taha Krishna Harilena Ama Sabakara. They said, whatever little opportunity we had for discussing the topics of Krishna together, Krishna has taken that away with the departure of Vishwarup. Amharao Naurahiba chali janavane, e papishta lokamuka nadeki jekane. Let us all leave home and go to the forest. Chali janavane. Then we will not see the faces of these sinful people. Papishta lokamuka nadeki. Papishta, persons who are averse to Krishna. Pashandira vakye jwala sahiba vakata nirantara satpate sarvalokarata. People are speaking their minds, or maybe out loud, for the next 5 verses. The Sarva Bhaktagan or Vaishnava Mandala, Bhakta Mandala, Vaishnava Mandala, in the absence of one of their key leaders, Vishwarup, they're now saying, Pashandira Vakyajwala, how long must we tolerate the burning words, Vakyajwala, burning words of these atheists, Pashandis? They are all continuously engaged in materialistic activities, asatpat, sarvalokarat. They have intense attachment for the temporary. Krishnahina namanai shunikaro mukhe sakala samsara dubi mari mitya sukhe. We don't hear the names of Krishna coming from anyone's mouth. The entire world is absorbed in illusory happiness. Mitya sukhe. Bujaile kea Krishna patta nahi lai, uladhiya arose upahasa karai. Even if these non-devotees are instructed, even if we tell them some Krishna pat, they will never take to bhakti. They simply taunt us and laugh at us, because they're all mad with material enjoyment. Krishna bhaji tomara kailakon sukha magiya sikhao aro bade jata dukkha. And they criticize us by saying, what pleasure do you derive by worshipping Krishna? Even you have to beg for your food, and this way you increase your distress. And devotees go on again, lamenting about these, living amongst these people, in the separation from Vishwarup. Jogja nahi e saba lokera sanevas vani chale janna bali sabe chari shwas. It's not proper to live with these materialistic non-devotees. Therefore we should go to the forest. Saying this, everyone sighed deeply. Sabe chade swash. Prabodhena sabare Advaita Mahashai Bhaiba Paramananda Sabai Nishchai. Advaita Prabhu attempted to console and pacify everyone. He said, you will all certainly attain great ecstasy. Paramananda. Advaita Acharya speaks now for 4 verses. Eva Bharavason Muni Hridaye Ulas Hena Bhuji Krishna Chandra Karila Prakash. Even I'm feeling great joy in my heart. I understand. Now listen, everyone. I can understand that Sri Krishna Chandra has already advented in this world. Sabe Krishna Gaugya Paramaharishe Etai Dekhiba Krishna Kateka Diwase. Don't lament. Everyone go and continually, happily chanting Krishna's name, Gya Paramaharishe, with the greatest harsh happiness. And I guarantee, I predict that you will all see Krishna right here. Thomas Sabha Lana Haibe Krishna Ula Vilas Tabe Se Advaitahana Shuddha Krishna Das Haibe Krishna Vilas Shuddha Krishna Das. Krishna will enjoy pastimes with all of you. Krishnara Sub Krishnara Vilas. The meaning of my name is Advaita. It will be fulfilled and I will be celebrated as the unalloyed servant of Lord Krishna. Shuddha Krishna Das. Kadachit Jaha Naapaya. Shuka Va Pralad. Toma Samhara Britnjayo Paibe Se Prasad. All you devotees will receive mercy that even Shukadeva and Prahlad never received. It's the end of Vaitacharya's preaching to all the devotees who were lamenting in the absence of their beloved Vaishnava friend Vishwarup. Shuni Advaiterati Amrita Vachan Paramanande Hari Bole Bhaktagan. After hearing Advaita's Amrit Vachan, Ati Amrit Vachan, extremely nectarian, soothing and satisfying words. Ati Amrita Vachan. All the devotees chanted the names of Hari in great ecstasy. Hari Bole Bhaktagan, Hari Bole Bhaktagan Paramanand. Hari Bole Bhaktagan Parama Anand. Anand. Hari Bole Bhaktagan Karya Hunkar Sukhamaya Chittavritti Haila Sabhar. As the devotees loudly chanted the name of Hari, their hearts were filled with happiness. So this was the way to get free from lamentation or sadness. First have good high-class association, and in that high-class association, from liberated souls, hear the sweet Harikatha, the Amrit Vachan, and then altogether, after hearing that Katha and removing one's doubts, then celebrate the occasion, celebrate the experience by chanting loudly in great bliss the holy names of Hari. And then everyone will fill with happiness. Sukhamaya Chittavritti. All your chitta, all the consciousness, all the functions and activities of the consciousness become saturated with happiness by associating with devotees, chanting the holy name and hearing Harikatha to remove all lamentation, doubts and difficulties. Shishu Sange Kridakare Sri Gora Sundar Hari Dwani Shune Jaya Bhariya Bitara. At that same time where they were having a Hunkara Kirtan, a very loud kirtan of chanting Hari, 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 outside Sri Gora Sundar, Shishu Sange Krida, in the association of other Shishus, he was playing. But when Sri Gora Sundar heard the name of Hari, 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 Hari being chanted, he ran inside the house of Advaitacharya. Ki karye aila bhap bole bhaktagan Prabhu bole tomara dakila morakine. Devotees asked him, "Oh, Nimai, why have you come here?" And then the Lord replied, "Why did you call me?" Eto boli Prabhu Shishu Sange Dhana Jai Tarapi na Jane Kaya Prabhura Majaya. Saying this, Lord Vishwambar Nimai ran away to play with his children. Yet by his influence, by his Maya, no one could recognize him. He spoke in a riddle, but no one caught it, because they were chanting Hari, 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 which means they were calling for the Lord. Hari and vocative, loudly, Hunkara, roaring, Hari, Hari, and Vishwambar thought, well, that's me. So he ran there. He ran inside, and devotees said, "Why have you come here?" Because they thought they were chanting the name of God, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, Krishna. They thought they were chanting Krishna's name, Hari. And then this little golden boy, Gaur Gopal, runs inside the house. "What are you doing here?" And he says, "Well, you called me. What do you think? Why did you call me? You're asking me a question why I came here. I'm asking you a question, why did you call me?" But no one could catch it. No one understood what he was saying because they were covered by Yoga Maya, Prabhu's Maya, so it wasn't time yet for them to understand that this Shishya was actually Bhagavan. So he ran back to play with his friends. But he dropped a hint there, so maybe he'd wait till someone could pick it up. Jayavadi Vishwarupa Haila Bahira Taravari Prabhu Kichu Haila Sustira. After Vishwarup left home, Vishwambar became somewhat more peaceful, more sustira. Niravari Take Pita Matara Samipe Dukkha Pasaraya Janani Janake. After Vishwarup left home, then Vishwambar stayed close at the side of his mother and father, so they would get some relief from their distress. Kela Sambariya Prabhu Jatna Kari Pare Tilard Teka Pushtaka Chadiya Nahi Nade. At this time, Vishwambar stopped playing with his friends and started concentrating on his studies. In fact, Nimai would not leave his books even for a moment, even for a sesame seed's worth of time, a tilar deke. Ekabara Jai Sutra Pariya Prabhu Jai Arabhara Uladhya Sabare Tekai. Vishwambar Nimai mastered the sutra after reading it only once. He was able to defeat all others in debating its meaning. Dekhiya Purva Buddhi Sabe Prashamse Sabe Boli Danya Pita Matahina Vanshe. Everyone praised Nimai Vishwambar's wonderful intelligence and said, "Glorious are the father and mother who have such a son." Santoshe Kahina Sabe Jagannatastane Tumite Kritarte Mishra Ehena Nandane. In satisfaction, they then said to Jagannath Mishra, "You are most fortunate to have such a son." Hemata Subhudi Shishu Nahi Chubhavane Brihaspati Jinina Hoibe Ajay Jhane. They went on to glorify the son of Jagannath Mishra. In the three worlds, you cannot find a child as intelligent as your son Nimai. In fact, Nimai will defeat Brihaspati in learning. Shunile Sarvart Apane Vakane Tana Pankti Taha Panki Vakanite Nare Kona Jane. Your son Nimai can explain the meaning of anything he hears just once. No one is able to defeat his reasoning. Shunina Pucheragun Janani Harsh Mishapuna Chitte Bhara Haya Vimarsha. Mother Shachi was pleased to hear her son's extraordinary qualities, while Jagannath Mishra again became greatly morose at heart. Shachi Pratibole Jagannatha Mishravar Eho Putra Narahibe Samsara Bitar. Sri Mishra said to his wife Shachi, "This son will not remain at home either. Emata Vishwarupa Pari Sarvashat Emata Vishwarupa Pari Sarvashastra Janila Samsara Satya Naiti Lamatra." Now, Jagannath Mishra is speaking to his wife for 5 sentences about he's morose. His wife was Harish and he was Vimarish. Chitta Bhara Hayam Vimarish. His consciousness was extremely Vimarish, extremely unhappy and morose, whereas his wife was Harish, pleased. So now Jagannath Mishra is explaining to his wife why he's unhappy and morose, because he can foresee that this precocious son of his will not stay home because he's doing all the same things as Vishwarup. Don't you remember Sri Vishwarup studied all the scriptures and understood the temporary nature of the world? Sarva Shastra Marmajani Vishwarupadira Anitya Samsara Haite Haila Bahir Eho Jadi Sarva Shastre Haibe Gyanavan Chadiya Samsara Sukha Karibe Payan Ehi Putra Sabedui Janera Jivan Ihare Ne Dekile Dui Janera Maran Atevi Hara Pariya Karya Nai Murkahana Gari Mor Rahoka Nimani. So he's telling to his wife, don't you know what happened? Vishwarup did the same thing. Now your son Vishwambara is doing the same, following his footsteps. After he learns the essence of the scriptures, Sarva Shastra Marma, the silver-minded Vishwarup gave up transitory material life, Anitya Samsara. Now if this boy becomes well-versed in the scriptures, then he'll also give up material happiness and leave home. This son is all we have. He's our life and soul. If we don't see Nimai, we will both certainly die. Therefore, Nimai should no longer study. Let Nimai stay home and be a fool. Sachi boli, Morka haile, jiveke, kemane, murkere na kanjao, na dibe kon jane. But if Nimai remains a fool, how will he survive? How will he make any money? How will he get married? Who will offer their daughter to a fool? Mishraboli tumita aboda vipra sutta harta karta bharta Krishna sabara rakshita. You are the ignorant daughter of a Brahmin. Krishna is the doer, Krishna is the controller and the maintainer and the protector of the living entities. Harta, Karta, Bharta, Sabara Rakshita. Krishna, what are you talking about? Even a fool will be maintained and protected. Now he goes on preaching, very wonderfully how happiness depends on Krishna and Krishna is maintaining everything. The Sachimata shouldn't think that one's own endeavor or one's own education guarantees the success or happiness in life. So he preaches to her for quite a few verses. Then afterwards he speaks to his son, and we'll hear all this discussion tomorrow. Jai Vishwambar Jaya Nimai Shachinandana Gaura Hari Prabhu Jaya Shri Gauranga Jai Vishwambar Jaya Nimai Shachinandana Gaura Hari Prabhu Jaya Shri Gauranga Jai Vishwambar Jaya Nimai Shachinandana Gaura Hari Prabhu Jaya Shri Gauranga Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha Krishna 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 He Krishna 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 He Shri Gaur Gopal Bhagavan Ki Jai Shri Caitanya Bhagavata Ki Jai Vrindavan Das Thakur Ki Jai Ki Jai